We'll start out just by coming to our breath. So whatever seat you take, once you settle down, really start to notice how you're breathing. And any obstructions to your breath that you might be noticing or feeling, or the ease in which you're breathing. Notice how your back feels, your upper back, how the muscles between your ribs feel. Notice if there's any sort of energy in your heart area or lungs, upper back. Really paying close attention to the thoracic part of your spine that connects to your rib cage. As you start to inhale next time, really feel how the muscles between your ribs have to lengthen. You feel your shoulders rise. You feel yourself expand. Notice if you're expanding more in any direction. So do you feel your chest move forward more than you feel your back move, or more than you feel the sides of your ribs? Just be really interested in how you change shape on the inhale. And then bring your awareness also to your tummy. On the inhale, work to relax the muscles of your stomach so that as you inhale, your tummy expands. And this doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be any more than just a subtle change in the shape of your body as you inhale. And start to also notice your body on the exhale now. And we'll add a little bit of a toning on the end of your exhale, or really while you exhale, to pull in and up on your navel and the muscles that make up your pelvic floor. So those muscles are located between your tailbone and your pubic bone and the two sides of your sitting bones. So as you inhale, expand your chest, your belly, your pelvic floor will also expand. Slightly, subtly, and then on the exhale, starting to pick up at your pelvic floor, pulling your navel also in and up. And again, just subtly, not really too tight. It's just a little bit. So keep going, breathing through your nose on the inhale and exhale. Feeling yourself expand on the inhale and slightly contract on the exhale. Working to lengthen your breath out. So it takes quite a long time to fulfill your inhale and to be done exhaling. And then as we begin to move today, we'll just keep coming back to this slow, deep breath. If you know the pranayama exercise of Ujjayi breath, it's just a slight closure at the back of your throat. You can also use that breathing style as we move. But slow, deep breaths are good enough as well. So we'll be doing a lot of stuff that keeps us pretty low to the ground today. And some of it will be harder than others. Some of it will be core work. Others will be more stretchy. Just taking care of yourself as you move, do what you can. You can leave your hands where they are or bring them together in front of your heart. If you have an intention for today's practice, if there's something that you'd like to dedicate your movement to, or some theme that you'd like to embody, you can start to bring that in now. Really envisioning that in your third eye, the intention, the wisdom of your practice coming through as you move. And let's seal that intention in with an Om. Take a deep inhale. Slowly opening your eyes. Find wherever the thing you're going to use as a strap is, and then lay down on your back. You can just set that strap off to the side, close to where you can reach it. If you were sitting up on props or anything like that, you might want to move them out of your way. So we're going to take our legs side to side for sure. Once you lay on your back, if your body immediately asks you to do something, please do that thing. Any little wiggles or movements that you need to do, those are all super welcome. I'll give you a second to do that here. Come back to your breath as you move. And then reach your arms overhead and stretch your legs out flat onto your mat. Push your heels away from you. Draw your toes back towards your shins. Draw your low ribs in. And really stretch from heels to fingertips. And then as long as you don't get calf cramps, go ahead and point your toes. If you start to get a cramp when you point your toes, pull your toes right back to where they were. Okay? And now, almost like you're going to make a snow angel with just your arms. Bring your arms out to the sides and then back towards your hips, or in towards your hips. Bring your knees into your chest. Lift your head and chest and wrap your arms around your shins. And then place your head back down and just rock from side to side here for a second. You can also hold onto your shins instead of holding onto your arm if you can't reach. Okay, keep that right thigh close to you. Interlace your fingers on your right shin and stick your left foot up toward the ceiling. Point and flex that ankle a couple times. And then do just a few circles. You might even do both ankles at the same time, why not? Good, you can keep doing circles if they feel good as you start to bring your left leg toward the ground, sort of a little brain tease there as well. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale, lift your head and chest, bringing your face towards your right knee. And you can stop doing ankle circles if you still are, unless you want to. Now bringing your head and chest back to the ground, let your left heel touch the floor. Take your left hand to the outside of your right knee and slowly guide your leg over to the left a little bit until you start to feel a stretch in your lower back and outer hip. And then stretch your right arm out to the side. Breathe, slow, deep breaths here. Take another breath. And then slowly come back onto your back. You're going to take that right knee out to the right with your knee still bent and your right foot to your left inner thigh like you're doing tree pose on the ground. Pull your left toes toward your shin. Good, and then reach your arms overhead. Nice, and notice how when you reach your arms overhead, for most of us, will make us do a little back bend. So press your low ribs down instead. Tuck your chin slightly to lengthen the back of your neck. Take a breath. And then once again, snow angel your arms. Nice yoga term there. And then bring both of your knees into your chest. Once again, lift your head and chest to give yourself a nice embrace. And then interlace your fingers this time around your left shin. Bring your head down. Kick your right foot up toward the ceiling. And again, little ankle love here. Point and flex or do circles. You could even get your toes involved. They need a little love as well. Yeah, and then if you want to keep doing it as you lower your leg, it's super weird and it's kind of hard, which is good for our brains. Good, take a deep inhale. Exhale, lift your head and chest, bring your knee to your nose to your knee, hold, breathe. And then let your right heel come all the way to the floor. Take your right hand to the outside of your left knee and guide it over to the right a little bit until you start to feel the stretch. And then extend your left arm out to the left, even with your shoulder, and breathe. Nice, long, and slow, deep breaths here. Another breath. Good. And then you're going to roll back onto your back and do reclined tree pose. Very relaxed tree. Left foot to your right inner thigh. Pull your right toes back toward your shin. Reach your arms overhead. And don't let your ribs pooch out. You're going to press your middle of your back toward the ground. It's just like if you were standing there, okay? So there's a few engagements that you could try. You could try pushing your foot into your thigh. Really working on that low rib tuck. Stretching your arms and heel away in opposite directions. And then reach out to the side as you bring your arms back to your sides. Both knees into your chest. Once again, lift your head and chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. This time, keep your head and chest lifted. You're going to take your arms and your legs out to the side. Create like a little starfish. And then bring yourself back in. Actually, it's sort of more like an anemone. Reach out. And then come back in. And if this starts to hurt your neck, let your head rest, okay? Don't get a neck cramp over this. It's not worth it. It's totally not worth it. It's worth it to do it, but not if it hurts your neck. Okay, one more time. Big hug. And then big extension. Good. Bring your arms and legs to the floor right where they are. So you're just kind of taking up a ton of space, more space than your mat. Oh my gosh. Take a breath. And just notice the difference of laying on your back, how you probably usually lay on your back in yoga, to this. It's kind of fun. Energetically, it's much different, I think. Okay. Bring your arms to your sides and bring your legs together. Heels pointing up toward the ceiling. Press your low ribs down. And then bring your right knee into your chest once again. This time find that strap. Lift your head and chest. Place the strap on the ball of your foot. We're going to do the Supta Padanusthasana sequence, the hand to big toe sequence. But we're going to use a strap. Unless you can easily grab your big toe, which then fine, that's great. Hold on to the strap with your right hand, place your left hand on your left thigh. So left leg is going to stay active the entire time. Really pull those toes back and turn your left inner thigh toward the floor. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, lift your head and chest. You're trying to bring your chest to your leg. So your leg is going to stay in line with your hip. Good. Looking at those left toes, make sure they're all facing the ceiling, even your pinky toe. And then go ahead and bring your head and chest down. Take your right toes out to the right as you guide your leg out to the right. Don't let your left hip move. So your left hip's going to stay on the floor. You're only going to go out to the side with your leg as far as you can keep that left hip grounded. Push your foot into the strap and then pull with your hand. Maybe you can bend your elbow, maybe not. Good. Breathing here. You can take your left arm out to the side if you want. Really keeping that tension between pushing into the strap with your foot and pulling with your hand. Do a little left leg check. Is left leg still with us? Yes. Take a breath. Bend your right knee slightly. Bring your right leg up over your hip. Transfer the strap into your left hand. Take your right arm out to the side. And you're just going to bring your left leg over, right leg over to the left a little bit. You start to feel that stretch in your hamstring and your outer hip. Point your right sitting bone straight ahead and you'll feel that side of your waist lengthen as well. You might feel the stretch change. Feel into your breath and all the other sensations that are happening. And slowly guide your right leg back up over your hip. Hold the strap once again with your right hand. Left hand places right back on your left thigh. Inhale. Exhale, lift your head and chest. This time, do try to bring your leg toward you. Yep. Breathe. And then you're going to take the strap off of your right foot, keeping your leg in the air. Reach both hands forward and slowly watch as you bring your right leg to the ground. Good, and then rest. I really like to feel when that pose ends, when that sequence ends. I get so wrapped up in it, I don't realize how hard I'm working. So that's a nice release at the end there. Bring your legs together again, please. Pull your toes back towards your shins. Press your low ribs down. Bend your left knee. Lift your head and chest. Take the strap around the ball of your left foot. Hold the strap with your left hand, right hand on your right thigh. Good. You can bring your head and chest back down. Take a deep inhale. Push your foot into the strap. As you exhale, lift your head and chest, bringing your body closer to your leg, but keep your leg where it is. Slide your right hand down your thigh, breathe. You can peek at your right toes, make sure they're all facing straight up. And then slowly bring your head and chest back down, getting ready to take your leg out to the left. So turn your left toes out, slowly, slowly go. That way you can notice, like, keeping your right hip on the floor is actually quite hard. And it becomes a form of core work, this whole sequence. If you can really focus on grounding in the areas that are being sort of pulled and lifted in the directions, like off the floor. You can take your right arm out to the right if you'd like. This pose, like we did tree pose obviously is normally a standing pose. This whole sequence can be done standing as well. We're not going to do that today, you're welcome. It's very difficult. One more breath. Okay, bend your left knee just slightly as you bring your left leg up. Hold the strap with your right hand. Take your left arm out to the left. Slowly guide that leg over to the right till you start to feel a stretch. And I'm telling you, it's usually not very far that you have to take your leg. Now, most likely your left hip is kind of lifted up towards your left rib cage. I want you to try to bring your left sitting bone more forward and feel how that side of your waist lengthens and how the stretch changes for you. Stay with your deep breathing. Last breath. Back to the first position. Hold the strap with your left hand. Place your right hand on your thigh. Right leg is straight and strong. Actually, both legs are. Inhale. Exhale, lift your head and chest. Slide your right hand down your thigh. Maybe pull your left leg closer to you if it feels like a good and safe option. Breathing deeply. Here we go. Adding to the challenge. You're going to take the strap off of your left foot, but keep your chest lifting. Reach both hands forward as you slowly lower your left leg. And then rest. Take another big breath there on the floor. All right. Bend your knees, place your feet on the ground, a little wider than hip distance apart, toes facing straight ahead. Arms at your sides, palms on the ground. So this pose is bridge pose prep. And we're going to do a couple pelvic tilts before we go any further than this. So start by planting the big toe side of your feet firmly into the ground. Feel your heels on the floor, your palms on the ground, your shoulder blades, the back of your head. Start to tuck your tailbone up toward the back of your knees. And this can be fairly subtle for some of us. You might feel the middle of your back really pressing toward the ground. And now tuck your tailbone firmly toward the ground, and you'll feel your low back and even maybe your mid back lift away from the floor. Okay, remember your feet as you tuck your tailbone toward the back of your knees, and then tuck it also in the opposite direction. Just breathing as you move. It doesn't have to be on a certain breath. Just gonna warm up our lower back here a little bit before we go into bridge pose. So just some pelvic tilts. Notice the muscles that have to turn on as you tilt your pelvis, or any difficulties you experience while doing this. Maybe it feels really good. It's important to notice not only the things that are hard and you hate, but things that you really like and feel really good in your body. And that way you can go back to those things. Okay. Next time you tuck your tailbone up toward the back of your knees, go ahead and lift your pelvis all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Okay. Interlace your fingers underneath you. Roll your upper arms underneath you. Press your pinkies toward the floor. Lift your chin away from your chest. And take a few breaths in bridge pose. Good, another long, slow breath. Keep your hips lifted. Reach your arms over your head now. Stretch. As you reach your arms overhead, step more to that big toe side of your foot and see if by pushing down and forward you might lift your thighs more, lifting your hips more. And then slowly set your back and then your butt onto the ground. Lift your legs. Feet toward the ceiling. You can point or flex your ankles. Now lift your head and chest and try to touch your toes. Maybe you touch, maybe you don't. Doesn't really matter. Come back to the bridge with arms overhead. We'll take this as an inhale. And then exhale, touch your toes. Inhale to bridge with your arms overhead. Exhale, touch your toes. Keep going. Inhale, bridge. Exhale, touch your toes. So we're going to add something to the touch your toes. It's going to be kind of funny. Inhale, bridge, arms overhead. Exhale, bring your back down. Right leg's going to go up. Left leg's going to go forward. Heel above the ground. And then you're going to reach forward. So we're going to try to do that. Exhale. Inhale, bridge. Exhale, same thing. This time switch sides. Inhale, bridge. Exhale, whatever you call this, opposite side. Yeah, so we're just switching sides from bridge into this. I'm trying to think of what it would be called. It's just a variation of the soup de pato sauce and this stuff. So, core work, in other words. Let's do one more on each side. Why not? Because it's hard is not a good reason. Okay, back to bridge. Pause, take a breath. Bring your hips down. Wrap your arms around your legs. Lift your head and chest, and then bring your head and chest back down. And stay here breathing, squishing your legs into your belly. It might be easier to hold one shin with one hand, same side. Good. Okay. Bring your legs over in this position, like knees bent, over to the right. Reach your arms out to the side. Now, I've never taught this. I do this on my own at my house a lot. I wanted to try to teach it to you guys today. So you start with your knees bent. The bottom knee is going to stay bent, but extend your right leg. So you're going to extend your right knee, left knee, left knee, because we're going to the right. So, and then with that left leg straight, you're going to circle it forward, all the way forward, and out to the left, which will kind of start to roll you to the left. And as you roll to the left, bend your left knee and bring your right knee over. So now you're in the position that you were in to begin with, but now you're facing the left. Okay, straighten your right leg, swing it forward. And once you start to come to the right, bend your right knee and bring that left leg over the top. All right, stretch your left leg straight. Do your little half circle. Come all the way over to the left, start to bend the left knee. Knees are both bent now. Yep, and then right leg straightens. Swing your leg forward, let it move you all the way over to the right where knees are both bent and stacked. A couple more times, just like that. Left leg, straighten, little circle, both knees bend and stack. Right leg straighten, half circle forward and to the right, both knees bend and then stack. You can't really do it wrong because I've made it up, okay? So we're just doing this to get a little bit more movement into our spine, specifically the lower back. Good, and it is a little sneaky core work here. So right leg's gonna guide you all the way back over to the right. Good, and then return to center, knee, feet on the floor, knees bend. Good, take your feet out wider than your hips, and then drop your knees towards each other. You can bring your arms to your sides, your palms facing up. Just take a breath. Awesome, one more breath. Both feet up toward the ceiling, please. Take your hands behind your knees. Good, we're gonna do a couple rock and rolls, so if this hurts your spine, grab a blanket and you'll put a blanket underneath you. So let's try it out. So you're gonna swing your feet overhead so that you can come up. Okay, and then swing back. Now, some of you might be able, and forward. Some of you might be able to do it with no hands. Okay. So we're gonna add something. You can either keep doing this, or come up, pause, Navasana. And then lower back. A little more slowly, come up, pause, Navasana. Yep, keep going. Navasana is goat pose. Now, bent knee variation is obviously a lot easier. You want to make it, maybe not so obviously, make it a little harder. You can try to keep your legs straight. Go. Keep going. Oh my Lord. Keep it up. Okay, last time. Swing all the way forward, let your legs come to the ground. Okay, a little bit like tree pose. Right leg is going to come, but right leg is going to come over the top. So similar tree pose shape. Let's do a forward bend here before we begin. Pull your left toes towards your shin. Inhale, reach your arms up, stretch up. And then exhale, fold forward, bring your hands to the floor whenever you feel that stretch is just like it's there. Most of us don't have to go far to feel it. Stretch should be in the right side of your hip. If this hurts your knee, bring your foot to the floor. Okay, keep breathing, let your head hang. Feel your stretch. Take another deep inhale and exhale. Then lift your head. Okay, so similar thing to what we were just doing. We're gonna rock back and forward. We're gonna have our foot on our thigh, which is gonna make it much harder to like stay stuck. You'll see. You'll see. Reach your arms forward, take a deep inhale. Exhale, slowly rock back. Inhale, rock forward, try to stay in Navasana. Yep, and then rock back. So a couple of these bad boys. It can help if you're having trouble to push your left leg up into your right ankle. Okay, last time. Forward and let your legs come down. So we'll do the left side, left ankle on your right thigh. And again, if this hurts your left knee, you could First of all, you could prop your knee, that might help, but also just putting your foot on the floor and doing the stretch more like tree pose or head to knee pose. Inhale, stretch up, reach up, and then exhale, fold forward as far as your body will allow you. Let your head hang and breathe here. Take another long, slow breath. And slowly lift your head and chest. And we'll start to rock. You're going to sit up tall, reach your arms forward, and slowly descend back and try to come back up. You might notice that hip flexors on one side seem to be stronger than the other. That's because that's probably true. It's how our bodies are, different on both sides. Okay? Keep breathing as you go. It's very strange. Okay? Always try to use our own bodies as like weights. This is a good way to do that. Last time. Okay. Bring your bottom of both of your feet together. Hold on to your toes. This is Baddha Konasana. We'll do this just for a second here. Hold on to your toes. Press your outer thighs down. Inhale, lift your chest up, look up. And then exhale, pull yourself forward. And breathe. And take another deep breath. And then inhale, lift your head and chest. Come all the way up. Hands, knees, please. Hands a little wider than shoulder distance apart. Pointer fingers pointing straight ahead. Creases of your wrists parallel with the top of the mat. Knees underneath your hips. So you create like a little table with your back. Can be good feedback or imaginary feedback. Pretend somebody's sitting on your back. You wouldn't really just collapse. Hopefully you would sort of push up into them. So you're going to get that sensation here, sort of pushing up a little bit. Take your right toes back. Tuck your right toes under your foot. Good. So now you're sort of in half plank pose. All right. Take your left foot back. Same thing. Now you're in full plank pose. Bring your right knee down. Take your left knee down. Straighten your left leg first this time. Then your right. Bring your right knee down. Bring your left knee down. Right leg first. Then the left. Left knee down. Right knee down. You get the picture. Left leg up first. Then right. Right knee down. Left. Do one more round, right leg first, then left, left knee, right, left leg first, then right, right knee. Good. Okay, both knees are down. Let's do just a couple circles here with our chest. So you're gonna let this time your chest drop totally toward the floor. Good. Elbows are gonna stay straight. Take your chest over to the right and then lift. Come all the way around. Your hips and shoulders will move. Drop your chest down toward the left and then to center. You're just making big circles with your abdomen. You can let your head move if you'd like. If you want to circle your head and your chest. Do what feels good here. This is a really pleasurable movement for most of us. Like it feels good. So get into it. Big breaths as you move. Tendency will be to bend your elbows. It's fine if that happens, but can be interesting also to keep your elbows straight. And then circle in the opposite direction. Big circles, really stretch into each of the shapes as you move. Notice those little parts of you. They get extra stretched. Extra good feelings. Awesome. Okay, take your right leg out to the right. All right foot on the floor, however you can get that foot to the floor. And then left knee's gonna be underneath your left hip, more or less. Good. And as you inhale, you're gonna stretch, turn your chest to the left, stretch your left arm up. And we're just gonna pause here, do a twist, breathe. Push your right hand down and to the right. Very stretchy, weird thing happening here with our necks and spine and hip and all kinds of things. If this is too much for your shoulder, you could always turn your hand and put your hand on your lower back instead, which is a really nice stretch too. If for some reason it hurts your neck to turn like this, go ahead and just look down at the floor. You don't want to have a hurt neck after yoga. It's just not necessary. Take a breath. Okay, bring your left hand to the floor. Now think about downward facing dog for this next one. Your legs are gonna stay like they are, hips over your knee, the bent knee at least. But stretch your arms forward like down dog and bring your head in line with your shoulders. Really deep inner thigh stretch here. If you like to stretch your chest a lot and your shoulders, you could try dropping your heart toward the ground and sort of, you'll be hanging a little bit more in your shoulders than some of you might like. Otherwise, you're gonna keep your chest lifted, head between your arms. So you can experiment with that, you know. It's like cow pose in your chest if you let your chest drop. Another long, slow breath. Bring your hands so that they're underneath your shoulders and then push down to straighten your arms. Keep your legs as they are, come all the way up, getting ready for gate pose. So right leg's gonna be out to the side here. And then bring your left hand to the floor underneath your left shoulder. Reach your right arm over your ear. This can be a modification for side plank too, if you ever need it. You're gonna stretch really, really far, pushing into your right foot and sort of like bow your ribs up toward the ceiling. And again, neck pain at all, you can look down. Take another breath. Maybe turn the left side of your chest more up toward the ceiling and change the stretch slightly. Now pull your low ribs in strongly and then tighten the right side of your waist as you reach your right arm up and over. Come all the way over to the second side, right hand on your right shin. Take your left arm over your face. You might turn your head and look up or look straight ahead. No matter what, breathe. Good, another long and slow breath. And then reach up and over to come out. Okay. I know that left knee could be killing you at this point. If you want, you could put a blanket underneath your knee. Because we're going to stay here just a little bit longer. So if your right leg's out to the right, I want you to take your right leg forward. Awesome. Runner's lunges, but with a twist. Usually we take runner's lunges with our hands on the floor or blocks. So for today, we're going to take runner's lunges with our hands behind our head. So interlace your fingers or just hold behind your head if that's more comfortable. Your arms can be relaxed, you don't have to spread your elbows apart or anything like that. Push your head back into your hands slightly though. Good. Take a deep inhale here. You're gonna let your hips sort of drop, lift your heart up just like you would with your hands on the floor. Yep, you can let your knee come forward, and then as you exhale, hips are gonna go back, lift your right toes up, and it's sort of a fold forward, which is much more difficult without your hands. So this becomes core work. Inhale, lift your chest, bring your hips forward, lift your heart. Exhale, forward bend. Difficult. difficult. Keep it up. Inhaling and exhaling. So much control in our hips to do this movement. We won't do too many because it can be hard on that back knee. Good, last 2 times. We're not gonna hold the forward bend, and I know you probably want to, because I want to, but we'll do that in just a little bit, okay? Coming back to hands and knees, please. All right, take a deep breath, nice flat back, settle into the hands and knees position. Instead of circles with our hips this time, I'm going to take your right hip and right shoulder towards each other, sort of crunching in that right side, and then come back through center and go to the left. Bring your left cheek towards your shoulder as well. So this is some work for our lower back muscles, but maybe a little stretch in your neck if you can get your cheek close to your shoulder. So same side that you're crunching towards is the cheek that goes to the shoulder. If you're going to the left, then the left cheek goes to the left shoulder. Okay, a couple more times. Feel your hands on the floor and notice how they're working for you, or they can be. When you go to the right, you push your right hand forward. When you go to the left, you push your left hand forward. Good, almost done here. Awesome. Return to your flat back, and we're going to take your left leg out to the side this time. We'll start with a twist. So left hand is going to stay on the floor underneath your left shoulder. Draw your low ribs in, inhale. Exhale here. Inhale, reach your right arm out and up as you stretch up. Good, and then just hold and breathe. If it felt good on the first side, it might feel good again to bend your elbow, take the back of your hand to your hip, and just take some of the overhead reach out of the practice. We do so much of that in yoga. Another long, slow breath here in the twist. Awesome. Returning back to center for sort of a version of puppy dog pose, I think. Take your arms forward. And either allowing your chest to come toward the floor, you'll get a deeper stretch pretty much everywhere, but if that's too deep, too much, you could keep your head between your upper arms, or you can just see for yourself, like experiment with it. Another long and slow breath. Bring your hands back so that they're underneath where your shoulders are. Push it down to come up. And then slowly come all the way up. So you're standing on your knee. And take your right hand out to the right, underneath your right shoulder. If your hand is too close to your knee, you're going to feel super awkward here. Err on the side of your hand, maybe even being out in front of your shoulder a little bit. Push your hips forward. Draw your low ribs in. Reach your left arm over your ear. And turn your head and look up. Unless that hurts your neck. You can bow the top of that top rib cage up toward the ceiling as well. Can experiment with these poses. Like if you shift a little bit in one area, what happens to other areas? What else do you feel? You might turn the underneath of your chest up toward the ceiling a little bit here. That definitely changes things in my body. Another breath. Okay, start to pull your low ribs in, just gathering a little bit of strength, pull on the left side of your rib cage, come all the way up and over to gate pose on the other side. Well, it's not really the other side, but you're gonna put your left hand on your left shin or thigh, reach your right arm over your ear. Good, feel and notice your breath. Last breath. Come up and over. Step your left foot out in front of you. It's sort of a fun thing to do from there for some reason. I don't know why that's fun for me, but it is. Okay. So get your grounding here in your right knee and left foot. We're going to do runner's lunges with no hands. Unless you really need to use your hands, then feel free. All right, interlace your fingers behind your head or just touch the back of your head. Push your head back towards your hands so that you sit up tall in your upper body. Inhale, letting your hips come down, knee come forward, heart up. And then exhale into the forward bend. So hips draw back, lift your left toes and fold forward over your left leg. Inhaling back into the low lunge. And exhaling, coming back into the hamstring stretch, forward bend. Keep going. We're trying for 6 times. If that's way too many for you, you can always rest in child's pose. There's no shame in that game. Nice and slow movements here so that you don't lose your balance. It's really difficult to balance. You have no hands. And you're moving through space. Your hips are working incredibly hard to stabilize you. Okay. Awesome job. Last time, at least for me, I'm not running through these very fast. Awesome. So once you get your last time done, you're going to bring your hands to the floor, step your left foot back, lay on your stomach, please, with your arms next to your sides, one cheek on the floor. And just give all of your weight to the ground for a moment here. Really feel your body being supported and lean into that support. Notice how your breath is, how your heart rate is, how your mind is. And then switch cheeks. And same thing, just see if you can give yourself to the floor, all that weight. Relaxing fully through your lower back, the top of your butt. And letting the full weight of your head rest. Okay, bring your forehead to the ground. Arms at your sides. Lift and stretch your legs back so that more of your thighs, more of your pubic bone are on the floor. Okay, do just a few locust poses here, Shalabhasana. Take a deep inhale and then exhale through your mouth. Now as you inhale, press your pubic bone down, lift everything else up. Palms facing towards your hips. You're going to squeeze your inner thighs in a little bit. Amazing job. Keep pulling up, 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 up. Take another deep breath. Wonder if it's been 20 seconds yet. According to Iyengar, it's full 20 seconds that we must be here, or else we will die. And rest. Doesn't matter what cheek you land on, just land there, totally relaxed. But not too much because we're doing it again. Put your forehead on the ground. Stretch your legs back. This time when you lift up, a little different Shalabhasana.
You're gonna try to lift up and actually take your arms and legs really far apart. So when we first lift, your legs and arms will be in, and then we'll spread out, okay? Taking a deep inhale, exhale out through the mouth. And then inhale, lift up, balancing on your pubic bone. Take your legs out to the side, take your arms out to the side. Woo, that changes things. Reach your arms all the way forward and up, 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 up. Lift your legs up. And then bring your feet, big toes touching, arms as close to your sides as you can. And then one more time, out really, really wide. All the way forward. Snow angel arms. Arms and legs stay out wide, this time splat onto the ground again. Maybe opposite cheek on the floor. Maybe you chose the same cheek. It doesn't matter. Take another breath. They say third time's a charm, so we will try it out. Bring your legs in. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Bend your knees, big toes touching. When you inhale, press into your pubic bone, lift everything up. Push your head back into your hands, this crocodile pose. Maybe it's like getting eaten by a crocodile because it's not. I do not feel powerful at all. Squeeze your knees in, ankles in, lift your head a little higher, and then let your hands come down, one cheek on the ground, arms at your sides, totally rest. In fact, push back to child's pose, please. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that feels good after that. Let's do a side relief. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth with sound. And one more time. Okay, we've worked for this. Bring your hands back. You're gonna sit up onto your shins for a second. And bring your knees a little closer together. Let's use down dog for this transition. Come all the way up to down dog. This is the most standing that we've done, I can tell. My legs are not quite warmed up. You might walk in place a little bit. Stretching the back of your legs feels good. Okay. Next time you inhale, lift your right leg up. And then exhale, bring your right knee to your chest and come forward so that your shoulders are over your wrist. Pause. Inhale, round your upper back. And then exhale, take your right shin forward, lay your right shin on the floor with your knee behind your right wrist. Yep, and then go ahead and wiggle that left side. Left leg back. Okay, yeah, pigeon pose, but not yet. You're going to push your right shin down, left knee down, squeeze them towards each other so that your hips lift pretty high. Pull your left hip forward, right hip back. Interlace your fingers behind your head. I know. We're almost done. Push your head back into your hands. Inhale, lift your heart. And then exhale, fold forward, keep your hips lifted. You're not going to come far. Inhale, pull yourself back, a little tiny back bend. Exhale, forward. You could do this with your hands on the floor. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, forward. Lift one more time. Inhale, up. Exhale, as you come forward, let your hips come toward the ground, arms to the floor. You can stack your palms. If you've got something to put underneath your head, you can do that. Resting your head down. We'll say in pigeon pose, we're going to tend to sort of roll to the side with the bent knee. But the idea would be just like keep both hips stretching evenly so you don't allow that to happen. Go back to your big deep breaths. It's a wonderful pose to hold for a few minutes. So we'll stay here, just breathing. Feeling things. If
that front knee, right knee becomes bothersome, if it starts to hurt, you can come onto your back instead. For most people, thread the needle pose. This position is a good option if it hurts your knee. This is also called sleeping swan in yin yoga. And if you've lost your breath, just bring yourself right back to it. Even when we're doing more restful poses, those deep breaths are important to keep going throughout practice until Shavasana. Just because why not? Rarely do we take an hour out of our day to breathe deeply. It has a huge impact on our nervous system, our state of mind. Take a second just to notice, like, what's the loudest thing that you're experiencing? And then what's the second loudest thing that you're experiencing, like sensation-wise, or maybe mentally? No real reason there, just notice. Okay, we're going to change the pose just slightly for a breath or two. Press down into your elbows and prop yourself up onto your left elbow. You could even take your left hand onto your right knee. Not completely necessary, left hand can just stay on the floor. But if you do bring it to your right knee, you're going to push your knee into your hand. Okay, right hand is on the floor, pushing down and forward, right elbow bent. You're just going to twist a little bit to the right and breathe. Like I said, just a couple breaths of this, our legs are probably going to fall asleep. Not legs, just the right leg. Last breath. Okay, roll onto your right hip so that you can take your left knee forward all the way. Left leg comes all the way forward. Right knee stays bent. Like, feels like torture a little bit there. Turn to the right. Place your left hand on the outside of your right thigh. Lift your right arm up, stretch up. And then exhale, side bend over your left leg. Yeah, and breathe. Just wanted to sneak another side bend in because I like them. Last breath. When you inhale, reach up and over out of the pose. Cool. Turn forward, cross your ankles, lean forward onto your hands, and take your hands forward, downward facing dog. Walk in place. Whoa, feel the difference between sides. Fill yourself up with breath. Give yourself all that good oxygen and other stuff that we don't talk about. That's equally important. Okay, inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, come forward, shoulders over wrists. Bring that left thigh to your chest. Round your upper back really high so that you can get your left shin forward. Lay it on the ground, left knee behind your left wrist. And then walk your right foot back. Ooh, you can keep your right toes tucked under or top of the foot on the floor. I don't care, maybe you do. Push your left shin forward, right knee down, and squeeze them towards each other. So tone your pelvic floor and inner thigh muscles a lot. So you could keep your fingertips on the floor or hands behind your head. I don't care which one. Inhale, pull your heart up. Exhale, fold forward a little. Good, and then keep going. Inhaling up.
4 seems like a lot, but that's what we're doing. Inhale up. Maybe it doesn't seem like a lot. It does to me. Good. This last one, just kind of melt your legs. You're going to come apart as you fold forward and bring your hands to the ground. Remember, it's like almost like teeter-totter between that right hip and left hip. Both hips are probably not on the floor. When I say hips, I mean butt, because that's what your hips are. Your hips are your butt. Stack your hands and maybe put your forehead on your hands, or if you've got a block or blanket to put underneath your head, you might choose to do that. And then breathe. Relax deeply through the sides of your neck and the tops of your shoulders. Soften your face. And again, just take a little bit of time to tune into where you're feeling the sensations the most. You just listen to our bodies, and our bodies will talk to us more, and we'll be able to hear them better. And yoga is a great place to practice that. So it's not necessarily trying to change anything, it's just being open to the feedback that our body's giving us, the wisdom. And take another breath like this. And slowly start to prop yourself up onto your right elbow. So your elbow, you're propping yourself up, so it's a little bit underneath your shoulder. But you might also take your right hand to your left knee, and if you can do that, you can push your hand into your knee. Left hand is going to come to the floor with your elbow bent and sort of out to the side. Push down and forward into your left hand or fingertips and twist to the left as you push your knee into your hand. Or hand can be on the floor, right hand. A little forward bend, twist, hip opening, hip flexor stretch. All kinds of things going on. Another big breath. And then we're going to exit here. Shift over to your left hip, bringing your left hip to the floor so you can take your right leg around and forward. And left foot close to your right inner thigh, doesn't have to be perfect. Toes, right toes pull back towards you. Turn to the left. Place your right hand on your left thigh. Inhale, stretch your left arm up. Exhale, side bend over your right leg. And breathe. My favorite version of head to knee pose. Revolved head to knee pose. Start to tighten up a little bit on that left side, and then then when you inhale, reach up and over to come out of the pose. Stretch your left leg forward. Feet hip distance apart or slightly wider. Inhale, reach your arms straight up, look up. And then exhale, fold forward over your legs. We're gonna do that a couple times. As you inhale, pull your belly in. You can slide your hands along the floor, reach your arms out and up. And then exhale. Good, inhale, sitting up, reach up. Exhale, this time stay there for a breath. Stay in the forward bend. Final inhale and exhale. If you want to stay here for a little bit longer, you can. Otherwise, I'm going to have you lift up. Start to reach forward and lower yourself to the ground. Great, and when you lay flat on your back, if you notice like your lower back isn't feeling that happy, you could try bringing the bottom of your feet together. That can sort of help. Or if you have anything around you that you could put underneath your knees for Shavasana, for corpse pose, I highly recommend that, because why feel that? You don't have to. Raising your legs almost always makes that feeling go away. Okay? And I'm talking about like discomfort in your lower back when you lay flat on the ground. Okay, and once you've gotten yourself into a position you think you're going to want to rest in, go ahead and do any wiggling or any moving around. If there was something else that you were hoping would happen that's fairly low intensity, then you can also do that before you lay flat on your back. Otherwise here, let's do another sigh of relief to help us rest. Take a deep inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth to sound. And one more time, inhale. And we'll just give ourselves a few minutes here to rest and digest that practice. Sometimes it takes a second or longer to really feel comfortable laying down. You might keep your eyes open. Your breath might not be ready to die off completely yet. You might still need to breathe some deep breaths. You just allow for whatever it takes for you to be able to shift into a still and restful state without forcing it. Takes practice. bring some little movements back to your body, or if there's any bigger stretches that want to come out, those are welcome too. If you'd like to just remain still, that's also a good option. And in the next few breaths, either staying as you are or making your way up to a comfortable seated position. And once you're seated, close your eyes and really feel yourself in your seat. Feel the position that you took. Feel your spine growing up tall out of your pelvis firmly rooted onto the floor or any props that you're sitting on. See if you can recall your intention and the ways in which you embodied that and moved towards it. And we'll trust that that intention was made and set forth, and those things will come. And then in honor of each other in this practice, in honor of the teachers that brought this practice to us, and in honor of the native people whose land we practice on, you can either leave your hands where they are or bring them together in front of your heart. And we'll conclude with the final Om. Take a deep inhale. Thank you guys so much.